This is your news source evening bulletin for today, Thursday, the 10th day of July in the year 2025. I'm Gordon Mosley reporting, and here's what we're tracking tonight. A 23-year-old man of Turkine on the east coast of Demerara was pronounced dead at the Georgetown Hospital after he was rushed there by police following an exchange of gunfire at the home of his parents. Police were called to the home early this morning after the youth, Joshua Taylor, armed himself with his father's gun and opened fire in the house. The man forced family members to run for cover as he fired repeated gunshots. News source understands that when the police arrived on the scene, the man opened fire on them and they returned fire. It is unclear whether he was hit, but he was eventually overpowered by the police, handcuffed, and taken to the hospital, where he died moments later. Persons in the neighborhood stated that Taylor appeared to be dealing with some mental illness. His aunt, who lives nearby, recounted what took place.
I come out from inside by there, with the gun, he go inside the yard, my yard big, and the boy start shooting all the way wrong. When he done, he go in my kitchen at the back of the freezer and he bring out the big jug with the water and he start drinking, he throwing the ice water, so go. He go by the pipe, he broke off the pipe, he put the big basin, he broke up the basin, he go in the basin, he start throwing water like he had and go, cho. I watching through the gun hole, you know, watching through the hole. We shoot and watching through the hole and watching the cell rapper, look, he coming again and he duck down low. And we duck again and the boy, blood him. And I keep praying and I keep praying. The Father upon the road, all in the name of Jesus. Joshua, surrender. They're going to kill you out there. The death squad out there, surrender. Son, surrender. The boy ain't answering, but the boy keep throwing water upon his skin. You know what we do? We take the hand and we push it through his 4 fingers. He take it and he push it straight down his throat and he start vomiting. You see, when I watch it through the hole, he vomiting now. If you see this water coming out his mouth, it's green and blue water. Yeah, I telling you, when he start for vomit now, yeah, and I saw me fall by the bathroom. And he take out the washing machine and he dash and he broke up everything. Yeah, everything in the yard broke up everything. Gun bullets all over, where yo.
2 years ago, the same Joshua Taylor was arrested with an unlicensed firearm during a police roadblock on the east coast of Demerara. He was charged in connection with an unlicensed weapon, but eventually released on $200,000 bail. The outcome of the court case is unknown, but investigations into this morning's incident are ongoing. More news coming up in just a moment.
It all starts with one. Maybe it's one look, you know the one, or one touch, even one word. It can start with one step, or one promise, one thrill, one first time, one deep breath, one leap of faith. One day to remember, or one night to forget. One moment, so many stories that make up one crazy, average, everyday, fabulous life. We get one life, just one. Make your move. It all starts with one.
Your own home is so much more than just 4 walls, floors, and ceilings. It's a lifetime of great memories and stories. Come talk to us and start your journey home today.
Republic Bank, we're the one for you.
it's time to renew the mission, to stay the course. The People's Progressive Party Civic invites you to the 2025 elections campaign launch on Sunday, July 13th at the Kitty Market Square, Georgetown, starting from 3 p.m. Be there to hear from President Dr. Mohammed Irfan Ali, General Secretary of the PPP Dr. Barrett Jaglio, and Prime Minister Brigadier Retired Mark Phillips, and others. Guyana is on the rise with massive achievements in education, housing to healthcare, infrastructure to innovation. As the most trusted political party, we are transforming Guyana for all. Let us rally for the People's Progressive Party Civic 2025 elections campaign launch Sunday, July 13th at the Kitty Market Square in Georgetown, starting from 3 p.m. for PPPC, forward together for a better Guyana.
Welcome back. We return to the police blotter tonight. On the 24th of June, the body of 22-year-old Ezekiel Smith was found in the Princess Street area with gunshot wounds to the head and multiple injuries to his body. Family members learned of the young man's death when they were contacted by a funeral home. Days before his body was found, Smith went missing from his home. Family members became concerned after receiving a call from an unidentified person who demanded $9 million within 24 hours for the man's safe return. The family could not raise that money, and their fears grew into reality when they received the information about his body being at the funeral parlor. Smith's family said they are troubled by the murder, and they are concerned about the silence from the Guyana police force about the investigations. News source understands that a 22-year-old man worked at the Chetty Jagan International Airport as a ramp attendant. He stopped working at the airport just 2 weeks before his death. A senior law enforcement source told News Source that investigators suspect that a kidnapping and murder may be linked to an attempt to get a shipment of cocaine onto an international flight. The source said it is believed that the young man may have been lured by drug pushers and given a package to place on board a flight. The source said it appeared as though the package was never placed onto the flight and may have never been returned to its owners. The Guyana police force has not released any information about the kidnapping and murder. Efforts to contact the crime chief today were unsuccessful. A post-mortem examination revealed that Ezekiel Smith had a gunshot wound to the head and multiple injuries about his body. Those injuries were seen as being consistent with beatings and suspected torture. The 22-year-old was laid to rest today. In the courts now, police SWAT officer Sherwin Peters was today sentenced to 25 years in jail for the killing of Essequibo businessman Orrin Boston. The businessman was asleep in his house when a group of SWAT officers barged into the premises, and Peters, who was one of the officers, opened fire on the businessman in his bed. The incident took place in September of 2021. 2 weeks ago, the policeman was found guilty of manslaughter. In handing down the 25-year jail sentence today, Justice Sandal Kisun noted that the operations carried out by 12 heavily armed SWAT officers was executed without a search warrant, without an arrest warrant, or without any lawful authority. The judge surmised that the actions of Policeman Peters were unlawful, unreasonable, unjustified, disproportionate, and excessive. He said the resort to lethal force was without any basis against an unarmed man who was asleep in his bed. Justice Kisun also pointed out that a SWAT unit comprising officers specially trained for high-risk interventions failed in their responsibility to act with caution, restraint, and professionalism. He described their entire conduct during the September 15, 2021 operation as reckless, stressing that none of the officers had lawful grounds to enter the businessman's home. The judge said the defendant's claim that there was a confrontation that led to the shooting was contradicted by his own fellow officers and investigators from the police criminal investigations department. Just before the sentence was handed down, the state prosecutor referenced a lawsuit filed by the widow of the businessman against the state for the unlawful killing, noting that compensation had been paid to her. The prosecutor wanted the court to consider that settlement as a mitigating factor in the sentencing. But the trial judge said that while Guyanese law allows compensation to be considered in mitigation circumstances, in this particular instance, the payment was made by taxpayers, which affected his view on its mitigating value. Justice Kisun rejected the idea that the compensation held significant mitigating value because it was not paid by the offender Sharon Peters, but was paid by the state. He said the policeman was lucky that he was charged for manslaughter and not murder. The judge handed down a 25-year jail sentence and ordered that the days since the man was held in police custody following the guilty verdict be considered as part of that 25-year jail sentence. The 15th of September 2021 shooting death of the businessman led to national outrage and protests for several days. The policeman was charged 4 months after the incident. The General Secretary of the People's Progressive Party, Vice President Barra Jagdeo, today denied claims from other parties that persons were being bullied to join his party's elections campaign and attend its campaign rallies. At the Freedom House press conference this afternoon, Mr. Jagdeo was asked to confirm whether the party is demanding that those 10-day government workers and contractors be part of its political program ahead of the September elections. According to Mr. Jagdeo, the energy is high in his party's camp, and people are freely volunteering their time to be part of the campaign.
We want people, we're not bullying people to come. We want them to come. I hope they'll come to their launch. It is going to be a short campaign, and we will focus heavily on this. If you look at the energy, I've rarely seen this sort of energy in a campaign, and I've been around for a while. So when we have to put up flags now, I see a ton of people volunteer show up here, and it's happening all across the country. We don't need to pay people to put up our flags. They're coming, they say, can we help? These are in Georgetown. The Georgetown group alone, or the support in Georgetown alone, can manage all the affairs.
Mr. Jagdeo promised that his party will run a positive elections campaign, one that will focus heavily on its plans for the future and what it has to offer the citizens of Guyana. The PPP is set to launch its election campaign this Sunday in Kitty, ahead of Nominations Day, which takes place on Monday.
So you're going to see happy people here. You're not going to see people forced to come there because our message would be positive. Our message is positive. We're working for all Guyana. We're bringing people together across race. Everyone is included.
And noting that young people will be central to the upcoming elections, the Vice President urged young persons to use sense and not emotions when casting their vote.
I can understand the loyalty. I can understand it. You have to come, many people are born, have an emotional attachment. Not the young people so much because they can't afford an emotional attachment, because the emotional attachment may lead to disaster in your personal life. You got to be very sensible, not the emotional so much. Use your head, the brain, in making decisions, because that's what would lead you to a prosperous life.
Mr. Jagdeo said his party will not be engaged in optical politics for the upcoming elections. He said the party will run a program for Guyanese to see its vision clearly.
Your own home is so much more than just 4 walls, floors, and ceilings. It's a lifetime of great memories and stories. Come talk to us and start your journey home today.
Republic Bank, we're the one for you.
New York City, summer is about to get hot. Saturday, August 2nd, SR Hamilton LLC presents Gospel Infusion. Featuring Samuel Menace, Psycho, Eddie Neblett, Sean Daniels out of Trinidad, Christelle Brandt, Sherilyn Maloney, DJ Kesta D,
Timothy Roberts,
and many more at the South Jamaica Multi-Service Center, 11402 Guy R. Brewer Boulevard, Queens, New York. Gates open at 4 p.m. Showtime 5 p.m. Get your super early bird tickets for only $50. General admission $70. Pay more at the gate. And limited VIP $100 all inclusive. Come and experience the outpouring of God's grace Saturday, August 2nd. For more information, visit Gospel Infusion on Facebook and Instagram.
Washi. Hi people. Washing made so easy since I found Washi. Washing me use wash me clothes and I can say Washi soap powder wash clothes so nice. Washi soap powder leave your clothes color bright. Washi soap powder leave me clothes smelling nice, of course. So give thanks to Washi soap powder for doing my laundry right. Keep my clothes color bright. Have my clothes smelling nice for sure. I could not ask for more. Comes in lemon and original. It is a washing machine in a pack. Washi soap powder wash clothes so nice. Washi soap powder leave your clothes color bright. Washi soap powder have my clothes smelling nice, of course.
Distributors located in the Starbrook Market.
Still in the world of politics, some of the political parties aiming to contest the upcoming elections in September have started to camp out at the Guyana for Monday's nomination day process. On Monday, the contesting parties will have to hand in their list of candidates for the elections, along with the signatures of the nominators for the various candidates and the lists. The APNU was first in line at the camping out on Monday, and the other parties have been joining the queue since. APNU member Robin Gilges told News Source that the nomination day process is an important one, and it is also important to be in the line early to hand in those nomination documents, since there's a small window for any changes that might have to be made.
Every political party has to submit a list, which is the top-up lists, the geographic, and the regional list, right? And then in those lists, there are signatures that the list has to get. So parties cannot get the same signatures, right? And you only have a short period of time if a party is being found with somebody's signature that already submit before them. So that is the reason why we are here, because we believe that if our agents were working so very hard and trying to put the people them first, we should be here first so that we can make that list be the first list to enter into GCON there.
The APNU launched its campaign last Sunday and has expressed its confidence of winning the upcoming elections. The Alliance for Change is also camped out at the Guyana. One of that party's representatives, Joel Danarad, said the party wanted to also be early to enter the nomination day process on Monday.
Well, the purpose of our presence is basically to secure the spots for the for nomination day, which is Monday, and that's why our presence here, so we could secure that spot. Now, apparently, the PP had made mention that they were here presently before us, and they have it on their page. That's where I saw their posts. So apparently, I'm not sure what is the motive behind the posts, but we're still here to secure that position. And we're not going to go until nomination day.
When News Source visited the scene outside Guyana today in Kingston, there were no representatives from the PPP. However, some of the first-time parties have already secured their spot to hand in their lists early. According to Jan Fortune of the Assembly for Liberty and Prosperity, the ALP is set and ready for nomination day. She said though it's the party's first electoral outing, the membership is prepared.
And most of our party members, our exec, are fresh. We are new, and it's our first time, it's our first experience, but we are having a great time.
And you're out here early as part of the nomination day process. You came in at number what out here? Because I'm hearing about number 1 and number 2.
Well, we're number 3. That's what I know so far. We're number 3. And anybody else laps, we can go to number 2 to number 1.
Meanwhile, the Forward Guyana movement, which has brought together 3 new political parties, is excited about the excitement in the air with the upcoming elections. Party Representative Malika Ramsey said the Forward Guyana movement is motivated and ready for the process.
It is a good thing because it shows that our own people are motivated, not just the people from Forward Guyana movement, but all the other political parties, especially the small parties that some people seem to still be beating up on. It shows that everybody wants to be involved, and we want to ensure that our lists get there intact so that there's nothing that would happen that or we would have to pull a list because we're too late.
The Guyana Elections Commission has approved the symbols for a total of 21 political parties that have expressed an interest in contesting the upcoming elections. In the sugar industry, the Guyana Agricultural and General Workers Union GAWU today said it is concerned over recent statements made by leaders of a Partnership for National Unity and the Alliance for Change concerning the future of the sugar industry. Both parties have outlined their plans for the sugar industry once elected, explaining a plan to diversify the industry and keep the jobs of sugar workers. But the Agriculture Minister Zulfikar Mustafa has already rubbished the opposition parties' proposals, saying it was the same parties that closed many of the estates. In a statement today, the Guyana Agricultural and General Workers Union said the statements by the two parties come across as deeply disingenuous, given their track record. GAWU said the decisions taken under their administration shattered the livelihoods of hard-working sugar workers and devastated entire communities. According to GAWU, the closures dismantled the social and economic fabric of villages built and sustained around the sugar estates. The union said PNC reform leader and APNU presidential candidate Aubrey Norton had once advocated for the closure of the sugar industry and said the union does not now support his plans to reorient the sugar industry, saying that his promises for the industry will offer little hope. GAWU said it believes that the Guyanese people, especially sugar workers, are not being fooled by hollow rhetoric or political maneuvering at this time. The union said sugar workers and their communities remember the pain and the hardship that they endured under the APNU-AFC administration. According to GAWU, they are also fully aware of the consequences of policy driven by indifference and political expediency. The union is calling on all stakeholders to be truthful and consistent in their positions about the sugar industry. With the opposition still expressing concern over the credibility of the voters' list ahead of September's general and regional elections, the U.S. Ambassador Nico Therio said Guyana can have free, fair, and transparent elections once all of the electoral procedures are adhered to. Ambassador Therio said the U.S. is cognizant of the concerns of the opposition and through its embassy here will continue to provide support to the Guyana Elections Commission.
We meet regularly with GCOM, the CEO, the commissioners, the chairwoman, and as they've described the process, we feel that this can be a free, fair, and transparent election. But all of the procedures just simply have to be followed at every polling station in the country. And having those international observers there, having those party observers there is going to be very instrumental in that.
The U.S. ambassador also said the U.S. is working closely with a large number of observer missions, including the Carter Center, the Organization of American States, and the Private Sector Commission.
So we're playing a role and we're coordinating amongst all of the missions. We're coordinating with the Private Sector Commission. Anyone who is doing election observation here, CARICOM as well. We're trying to ensure that we're all working together so that we're not redundant and that hopefully every polling station in the country has international observers.
The U.S. Embassy's observer mission is expected to have about 50 observers as part of the team. 3 men were remanded to jail today after being charged with the possession of more than 40 pounds of marijuana for the purpose of trafficking. The 3 accused, Kenner Arjun, Antonio Bob, and Puran Simango, appeared at the Lenora Magistrates Court and pleaded not guilty to the drug trafficking charges. In addition to the charge in connection with the discovery of the more than 40 pounds of marijuana in a car, one of the accused, Kenner Arjun, faced an additional charge of being in possession of an additional 7 pounds of the foreign marijuana at his home. The 3 were remanded to jail and will make their next court appearance on the 20th of August. The bust and the investigations were conducted by the Customs Anti-Narcotics Unit. In a statement this afternoon, Kanu said during an operation on Monday in the Kendron area on the west coast of the Marara, a motor car was intercepted with a large quantity of foreign marijuana. The two occupants of that car, Antonio Bob and Puran Simangal, were arrested and the more than 40 pounds of marijuana seized. Kanu said its investigations led to the home of the third suspect, Kenner Arjun, and at his home in Hague on the west coast of the Marara, a search unearthed the additional 7 pounds of marijuana. Kanu said the investigations were triggered by information received.
Turbo with a new look, new style, with the same great taste in the 250 ml can. Everybody run out now. Go grab one. Me charge up with a turbo 250 ml at your favorite spot. Wait sell. New look, new can, same vibes. Jinxing, energize up your life. Vibes up, work time, anytime we are turn up the party with turbo can. Turbo can, turbo can, turbo can. Now available in the new 250 ml can. Turbo energy drink. Charge up today.
The Edge series comes alive this July in Guyana. 3 sporting disciplines, 3x3 basketball, table tennis, and criterium racing. Teams from across regions compete for a total prize pool of over $2.5 million and the title of champion. The Edge series. Are you on the edge?
And I'ma do it again. Watch me.
Guyana's economy is rapidly transforming, and we're all part of it. Guyoil is at the forefront of this development by providing reliable and efficient energy and supporting community development from the very core. 100% of Guyoil's profit goes back to building schools, roads, and other important infrastructure that connects our cities and towns, providing fuel to domestic, marine, industrial, and aerial transportation. Guyoil has now repositioned itself as a market leader in the petroleum industry, building a better future for all of us.
With your regional and international news tonight, I am Svetlana Marshall in the region. Jamaica and Barbados were on Wednesday removed from the European Union list of high-risk third countries with deficiencies in their anti-money laundering and countering financing of terrorism regimes. A day after, Prime Minister Dr. Andrew Holness expressed CARICOM's concern that an appeal for the delisting had been lacking for a month. Wednesday's action follows last year's removal of Jamaica from the EU's Financial Action Task Force listing. Welcoming the development, Holness said it marks a significant step forward for both countries and for the wider CARICOM region. He said, and I quote, "We have been actively advocating for such a decision, one which reflects the reality of the hard work we have undertaken to strengthen our financial systems. This is yet another demonstration of the strength of our partnership with the EU, a partnership I'm committed to deepening even further as chair of CARICOM," end of quote. He noted that he had referenced this issue at the closing press conference of the 49th regular meeting of the Conference of Heads of Government of the Caribbean Community on Tuesday, as an example of the value of the CARICOM platform to amplify the region's voice on the global stage and secure benefits for its people locally. Brazilian President Luiz Lula da Silva has said he is ready to match any tariffs imposed on Brazil by the United States, according to the BBC. Lula was responding to Wednesday's threat by his U.S. counterpart Donald Trump to impose a 50% import tax on Brazilian goods from August 1. In a letter, Trump cited Brazil's treatment of former President Jair Bolsonaro as a trigger for tariff hike. Bolsonaro is currently on trial for allegedly attempting to stage a coup against Lula after being defeated by him in the 2022 election. Trump referenced Bolsonaro as a highly respected leader throughout the world. Contending that the trial should not be taking place, Trump called on Brazil to immediately end the witch hunt against the former president. Trump's support for Bolsonaro does not come as a surprise, as the two men have long been considered allies. The U.S. president had already slammed Brazil for its treatment of Bolsonaro on Monday, comparing it to the legal cases he himself had faced in U.S. courts. The 50% tariff threat was met with a robust and lengthy response by President Lula. In a post on X, he stressed that Brazil was a sovereign country with independent institutions and will not accept any tutelage. The Brazilian leader also announced that any unilateral tariff increases would be met with reciprocal tariffs imposed on U.S. goods. And finally tonight, international news. Ireland's powerful Data Protection Commission has opened a new inquiry into TikTok over the storage of European users' data in China, after the short video platform disclosed in April that some data had temporarily been stored on Chinese servers. TikTok, owned by China's ByteDance, was in May fined 530 million euros by the Irish commissioner over concerns on how it protects European users' information, some of which is remotely accessed by staff in China. The new inquiry by TikTok's lead regulator in the EU will look specifically at the storage of data in China, which was not considered in the previous probe. The Irish regulator said in May that while TikTok had told it throughout the 4-year inquiry that it did not store EU data in China, it disclosed in April that it had discovered 2 months earlier that a limited amount of data was stored in China and since deleted. A spokesperson for TikTok said the company discovered the issue itself and promptly deleted this minimal amount of data from the servers and informed the DPC. And that's your News Source Evening Bulletin for tonight. I'm Svetlana Marshall, wishing you a pleasant evening.